Everybody talks about being number one on Google. So when somebody searches you, your name, your company, then it pops up number one. People spend tons of money on SEO, on ads, all the rest of that. And then a client of ours pointed out how to get above all those, how to get to number 0 on Google searches. Hi, this is Tom Schwab with Interview Valet, and I am so excited to share this with you. You see, recently a client of ours, Christopher Lochhead, a legendary marketer, a legendary podcaster, a friend and a mentor of the company, reached out to me. And he pointed out that he had been talking with someone trying to get a Wikipedia page, right? Because every Google search, Wikipedia typically shows up first. And he thought, boy, if I could get my name on Wikipedia, that I would show up in all of the searches. Now, there are people that will spend $5,000 to $10,000 to try to get that, and there are no guarantees. But luckily, he was talking with a writer and a Wikipedia expert that was really honest with him. And he said, you don't need a Wikipedia page. You've got something better. And Christopher said, well, what do you mean? And I'm going to show you the same thing that this Wikipedia expert showed him. So if you Google Lochhead right now, what you're going to see is on the right-hand panel, this thing in Google that pops up called a knowledge panel. And this is out there saying, okay, this is the person you're probably looking for. Here's this picture. Here's some books. And granted, it's not captured yet, so it's not all filled in. But you look at it, just his last name, it comes up right there. And what's amazing too is if you look at on mobile, it gets even better. So this is what it looks like on mobile, and it's the first thing that pops up. I mean, how great is that? And now you look at that and say, well, what caused that? And he encouraged me to Google your name, and I found the same thing, that mine was up there. So I started to Google a bunch of different clients. You know, I Googled, Kerry Wilkerson popped up there. And sure enough, Kerry Wilkerson, the first thing you see is over in the right-hand side is you see the knowledge panel. You see other people she's, searched for: Clement Stone, Tony Robbins. And then down here, 2 of the 3 are podcast interviews that is pointing out there. You look at somebody like Arthur Joseph, longtime client of ours, and this popping up there too. Down here of these, 1 of the 3 is a podcast interview that he did with Phil Gerbicek. There's other people, Tevis Trower, great business person there. Hers pops up, and you look at these, it looks like 2 of the 3 that pop up for her are podcast interviews. Now, it's not working for everyone, right? Christopher Lochhead pops up for Lochhead. I did one for just Schwab. Well, is this going to work for me just for Schwab? Well, probably not, right? There's a famous guy named Charles Schwab. You may have heard of him. No relation, but I'm never going to rank for that name, just Schwab. But I'm happy with Tom Schwab or Thomas Schwab. You know, another longtime client of ours, great CPA and fractional CFO is Craig Cody. Well, I put Craig Cody in there. I only know one Craig Cody, but I guess there's a fictional character that is Smurf's son. How do you compete with Smurf's son? But if you think about it, exposure brings opportunity. And I don't know Google's algorithm on how they put up the knowledge panel, but I can see that what they are posting up there is a lot of podcast interviews. And it's a signal that if you're out there, like for me, who am I? It's not that I got up there from being a movie star or being an author. You know, I sell a lot of copies of Podcast Guest Profits, but I give a whole lot more away. But what it is that I've been on over 1,200 podcast interviews. There's all these notes about me throughout the internet. that talks about me, points to the website. So when Google, I don't know, says when somebody is looking for Tom Schwab or Thomas Schwab, this must be the guy they're looking for. It's an amazing thing. I'd encourage you, Google your name. If you find one of these knowledge panels, jump on it, and give yourself probably a half hour or 45 minutes to claim it. It's a slow, arduous process. You've got to like hold up a government issued ID, take a picture of yourself and your face in front of a webcam with it. You've got to show that you own all of the different social media platforms, actually logged into them. And then even then it's a manual process to get approved. But boy, what a great opportunity. Exposure brings opportunity. And all this time I've been fighting for the Holy Grail to be number one on a Google search. And now I find out it's possible to be number 0 on a Google search, to be the first thing that shows up. It just shows the power of exposure, the power of podcast guesting. And I hope when you Google yours, you find your name also. Let me know if you have any questions on this. This is one of the most powerful things that I have seen in podcast guesting in a while. And I really think it shows where we are right now with podcast guesting and definitely where we're going. If you want to build your brand, if you want to build your business, there is no better place to do it than on a targeted podcast interview.